Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode number 79 of Imprint Cast, the podcast dedicated to the Australian boutique label Imprint Films. My name is Tony Michas, and joining me as always is my partner and colleague, Mr. John Mathews. John, how you doing, good sir?
Good, doing well. I'm doing well. I'm actually up in Brisbane right now, as I mentioned, but I'm looking forward to today's episode. I really like these end of year roundups, so and the guests we have on, so very looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And of course, we can't have our Best of Imprint episode without at least one family member with us, Mr. Paul Berriman. Paul, how you doing, good sir?
I'm doing good, thank you, Tony. Like John said, these end-of-year roundups are always really fun to be a part of. Seeing, looking back on what was put out, of which there was an awful lot this past year. So looking forward to today.
There is an awful lot. And as I said, we usually have our family member Suzanne Boleyn joining us, but she's not available today. But our Imprint television guru member, Mr. Jim Mulvihill, has recorded his choices for this episode, so I will be editing them into this episode. And of course, joining us back again after nearly 2 years, I believe. It's been so damn long, and I believe it was the best of the 2023 Imprint episode that we last had this guest. Right. And welcome back, Mr. Tim Leggoe. Tim, how you doing, good sir? And thank you for joining in.
Great. It's an honor to be back. Always love these episodes, love listening to them, and I can skip my bits when I listen back.
This episode is our first episode for our 5th season. I can't believe we've been going on for 5 years, this show. This is just crazy. It's just nuts. And of course, what better way to start off our 5th season than with the Best of Imprint Films 2025. Tim, you're usually good at counting every individual title. I counted 166 individual titles alone released last year. Was it right?
I did. I gave up counting on this year. There were just too many.
So many.
Just, there was another, 14 announced on Friday. And
there was 14 announced. It was crazy. Oh, it's insane how much Imprint are putting out, but they're putting out great quality product. I gotta say that for sure. Okay, now we will be discussing our Best of Imprint episode with for the following categories. We'll be discussing the top 3 cover art, top 3 special features, top 3 box sets, our favorite Imprint television release, our favorite Imprint Asia release, our favorite Bespoke of collectors box editions. We also have some honorable mentions, the top 3 Imprint releases for the year in our opinions. So we may as well start off with our top 3 cover art. Okay, John, what's your number 3 cover art for the year?
Yeah, I mean, they did some amazing covers this year, so it was very hard to narrow down. I mean, there was just too many. But my number 3 would have to be the release of Raging Bull because it uses the original poster art, which has not been used on really, not to my aware of any sort of home video releases. They always just seem to have the photo of De Niro with the boxing glove. Even Criterion did that, just had the... But it's a beautiful, painted work of art. And it really, it's the original poster. It sells the movie. And there's a lot to it. If you look at it in detail, he's obviously covered in sweat, black eye, bruised, looking really rough. And just to see that on a beautiful, shiny black box is amazing. So, kudos to Imprint for using the original poster art of Raging Bull. So because of that alone, it gets my number 3. It's one of my favorite films of all time. So I'm glad to finally see the poster art on a release.
Absolutely. It's a great cover art. But that's the thing about Imprint. They love... It's amazing that they use original poster art, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Tim, what's your number 3 cover art for the year?
Mine's a box. The Powell and Pressburger box. The way that they've put all of the original poster art once again on each of the individual titles. The Powell and Pressburger films have been released a lot. The cover art's usually something done, bespoke for that release. And I really just love those original posters and very happy to have all of them. And the box itself, I can't wait to get the second collection and see what they look like next to each other because, it really is a beautiful design with the Archers logo on the back.
Great box set. Paul, what's your third favorite cover art?
Yeah, so my third favorite cover art from 2025 is Swashbuckler. Probably a cover art that even is better than the film in some ways. The film is fun, but this cover is really, really great. Like, it sold me on it even from not having heard of the film before. It kind of sells you on the adventure, pulpy kind of look of it, and it's got like the little actors in sort of rings there at the bottom. Looks like probably maybe an original poster as well. And yeah, it's a nice kind of illustrated design for a fun pirate movie. But yeah, I really like this cover.
My third favorite cover art is the lenticular of Silent Night, Deadly Night. I just love this lenticular cover that shows number 1 and number 2 right here. And plus it just looks beautiful. But to me, the one that got me was this image right here. I found this image to be so effectively disturbing. It works, especially for a film like this. And as we know, this movie's reputation for Silent Night, Deadly Night, it's not for the faint of hearted, but this cover is actually perfect for this title in particular. John, what's your second favorite cover art for the year?
Yeah, the next one for me is the sort of double feature release of the Flesh and Fantasy and Dead of Night box set. Because on the outside, you've got, obviously really nice, beautiful green, sort of strong image. And then that's it. If I had my copy, I'd grab it.
Yeah, I'll show it off, don't worry.
But like Tim said earlier, on the inside, you've got the original beautiful poster art for both those, and they've never really been used on any sort of release I'm aware of. I mean, I think a lot of them, I think Kino tends to use this other sort of alternative one with like the bat image, but yeah, that's the ones that are fantastic. So yeah, so we've got the original poster. So yeah, it's just, and it suits both the films because they're great, they're gothic. So yeah, they're really striking images. Just overall as a box set, I just love the artwork, and yeah, just that classic poster art once again.
Tim, what's your second?
Another lenticular, Carrie. I think that this is how you do a lenticular cover. The original poster obviously had these two images side by side, and I've always thought it was the best poster art for Carrie, and there's been a lot of poster art for Carrie. But just the way they've blended that into this cover is just fantastic. The inside cover as well is an image I hadn't seen before, apart from watching the film. And yeah, it makes for a good cover, but the outside one is just fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great cover. Paul, what's your second favorite cover art?
Second favorite for me is Warlords of Atlantis from one of the Tales of Adventure sets. Again, it's sort of that pulpy kind of look to it, kind of, mashing up all the elements into one really cool designed poster. Again, hand-drawn elements. You got like the octopus monster and guys with axes and a monster holding a boat. It's like everything you could want from a fun movie cover for a film cover. So yeah, that's my number 2, Warlords of Atlantis.
My number 2 is the same as Tim's, Carrie. I adore this. Yeah, it is the perfect lenticular cover for this film in particular. Beautiful Carrie, then bloody Carrie. I just love it. And of course, as you said, I thought as you said, Tim, I've never seen this image in other cover arts as well. But of course, if you've seen the movie, you know what this is. But yes, this lenticular of Carrie, definitely amazing, brilliant. Okay, John, what's your number 1 cover art for the year?
Yeah, once again, it was very tough because there were so many great covers, but I really loved the Invasion of the Body Snatchers lenticular cover that they did because it really sort of pops. And there it is. Thank you. That's the one. Once again, it's a film that poster's never really been used over the years on home video. I know that I think Arrow did like an exclusive, but that was gone very quickly. It was like an exclusive sort of thing. But the fact that Imprint put on the cover with the lenticular, which is mind blowing because the amount of depth in that is pretty insane that they did. And it's perfect. Like it's got, obviously coming out of the sort of cocoon and everyone running and, coming from space, and it's I mean, like I said, it's really fun and just a really amazing cover. So kudos to Imprint for using it because there is an alternative poster I've never been a fan of. It's just like the 4 people running over this sort of like orange.
Yeah, none have I. Well, that cover was okay, but yeah,
it's okay. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. That one, yes, it's on the inside, yeah, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, that sort of it's just so. insanely good. It's just, obviously a painting. So yeah, and with the lenticular on top, but just icing on the cake. So yeah, that's my favorite, definitely.
Tim, what's your number one cover art for the year?
New York, New York. I've gone with one of the other Scorsese releases. This artwork on the front, I saw it years ago. I absolutely love this caricature of the two main characters. And inside, because obviously you've got two different versions of the film, you get two different cover arts, original poster arts, which are both fantastic. This one here, the second, is obviously almost identical to the La La Land poster, which they clearly ripped off from the New York poster, and obviously most of the film they ripped off. So a wonderful treatment for this, I guess, underloved film. So New York, New York.
Yeah,
good choice.
That's it's beautiful, that sort of sketch. It's never really been aware. I haven't really seen on any sort of DVDs and stuff. The DVDs I've seen in the past, Robert De Niro has him on the front cover, just like it's some Photoshop job. But yeah, to have that, it really represents the film as well.
Yeah, they used that caricature for the American standard release for New York, New York. But Imprint have made it a bit more effective with the box, obviously.
Yeah.
So that made it more better. Paul, what's your number one cover art for the year?
This was one which I think I even picked before even were considered doing a wrap up of the year. But the moment I opened this from Imprint, I knew it had to be number one. Tim and Tony, you've already mentioned it. It's the Carrie lenticular. For me, like, you can even pick it up on camera there. It seems like the change in that lenticular, I've never really seen them done as purely as that, where the other image just disappears and it changes through a slight flick of the image. You get Carrie soaked in the blood, and you get Carrie moments before, and like you said, Tim, it's the two images separately on the original poster. So it's really nice that they've combined them in this way, and they've just you would almost wouldn't know that the other one's there until you change it. It's a really well designed lenticular, uses the lenticular format incredibly well. I'm glad that Imprint have put this on. So yeah, I watched this 4K the other night, and looks superb. I've recently read the novel as well. It was a really good read. Yeah, very, very happy to have this. And like I say, the moment I opened this from Imprint, when I got this in, I'm like, oh, well, this is number one. Like, it's just got to be the best cover of the year. So yeah, Carrie for me. Okay, let's hear from our television guru, Mr. Jim Mulvihill's top three. Of course, we can't have a Best of Imprint 2025 episode without one of our most valuable family members, Mr. Jim Mulvihill. Jim, how you doing, good sir?
I'm doing very well. It's very nice to see you. Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year to you too. I know we would normally have Jim with us, but due to the time of recording, it'll be like 1 or 2 a.m. his times, and I don't want that. I don't want to do that again like we did last year. What are your top three cover arts for the Imprint Films 2025?
Well, the first one is it came from outer space, the lenticular artwork. It's perfect for sci-fi. The creature appears to move or loom. It displays directly into the movie's core anxiety. Things aren't what they seem. These changing human faces aren't just cool. They echo the film's central idea. Aliens who replace or inhabit humans. Before you watch the movie, the cover is already telling you, watch carefully, reality changes depending on how you look at it. That's sophisticated visual storytelling for and by the cover art.
Good choice.
My second one is Tales of Adventure Collection 5. The cover is basically a crash course in 1950s sci-fi pulp without needing to open the box. Devil Girl from Mars, the dominant figure, rigid stance, severe outfit, weapon in hand, cold authority, not chaos. The art works because the illusion is clean, absolute commitment to the fantasy.
Lovely.
My third one is Department S, the complete series. The artwork absolutely gets it. It's doing exactly what a good TV cover should do by telling you who the show belongs to before you even read the title. Putting Peter Wingard as Jason King front and center is spot on, because regardless of the ensemble setup, Jason is the pull, the scale, the confidence. It all screams the man who drives the energy of the series. Even though officially it's a team show, the artwork understands the reality. Jason King, charisma, wit, style. The other characters behind him works in multitude levels. They are important, but secondary. They represent structure, authority, investigation. Jason represents flair, intuition, and personality.
Great picks, especially when it came from outer space. Your description of it was absolutely correct. It's really good.
Well, I never thought that any company would do what Imprint have done with this particular film, because I thought, maybe some companies look upon it as a joke film. It's a very, very serious film that came out.
Oh, it is.
In a very serious time in American history, because the message wasn't just about aliens. It was obviously about aliens, but it was actually about human aliens, about the threat from other countries around them, So superbly done. And the artwork is a real testament to the movie. I don't know who did the artwork, but fair play to whoever did it. And it's a fantastic release, by the way. It
is. Okay, my number one cover art is a sci-fi classic, and it has one of the most amazing lenticular covers I think I've seen. It looks great. It came from outer space. This is my number one.
Was that last year?
Yeah, 2025. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, so this is my releases. Oh, tell me about it. Yeah, this is my number one cover art. The lenticular alone, I think, looks spectacular, but Carrie beats it by a mile. But I chose this one because it just looks amazing. And of course, the actual cover here that has the eye on the screen and scaring the audience, it's amazing. I absolutely love this cover art.
Yeah, that is a great one.
Yeah,
might have snuck into number 3 for me.
I know, as you said, so many to choose from. Okay, now we're up to the next section, which is the top 3 special features. So we'll go around in circles. Tim, we'll start off with you. What is your number 3 special feature? Whenever you're ready.
It's a bit of a cheat. Across the Powell and Pressburger box, Ian Christie is everywhere. His insights into Powell and Pressburger are like no one else's, really. So it would be impossible for me to basically not have picked one of his. So I think on the Canterbury Tale, which is not the best of the films in the box, it's still a great film, but probably the most interesting of the films. His Listening to Britain is just a great breakdown of the film and a lot of information around it that I was unaware of. But also on this disc is Kim Newman talking about the same film, A Canterbury Tale, and his is called Connecting with the Magic. And it is just a fantastic, 10 minutes of Kim Newman talking, as most 10 minutes of Kim Newman talking are. Yeah. So I recommend watching both of them together after watching A Canterbury Tale. Just great insights.
Canterbury Tale was a good movie from that set. Paul, what's your third favorite special feature for the year?
So my third favorite special feature was from the Dead of Night release, and it is Scoring the Night on George Ulrich and Dead of Night interview with author Dr. David Huckvale from 2025. As you know, we did the episode on Dead of Night with David, and that was really great to listen to him and all his insights. As I've said before, when I mentioned his special features, it always feels like a conversation with him. The way they film it, the way they set up the shots, and the way he presents his information. He has the piano by him, and he plays motifs of music and breaks those down for you in a really easy to understand way. And this piece, he also gives a biography of the composer. If there's anyone you ever want to give musical biographies from, it's always Dr. David Huckvale, because he's very well researched. And yeah, like I said, it's always like a conversation. It's like you're in the room with him, you're learning about film, music, the relationship between the two, and the composers themselves. So yeah, that's definitely a top pick for me.
John, what's your third favorite special feature for the year?
Once again, this is hard to narrow down because there were so many features this year. But yeah, definitely one of my favorites would be the audio commentary on The Keep. Audio commentary by Troy Howarth, Eugenie Erokolani, and Nathaniel Thompson. Now, obviously, Nathaniel, amazing to listen to, and with those three chatting about The Keep, it was very informative, and they went a lot to the background, the production, the history, the issues with the film, obviously touching on the supposed legendary cut. There's a lot of wealth of information there, and as a big fan of The Keep, it was great to hear them talk about it in depth. And like I said, I learned stuff I didn't really know about the Keep as well. So it was a really good open discussion. So yeah, it was a really engaging engaging listen for me. And I really enjoyed that commentary as a special feature.
My third favorite special feature is the 93-minute documentary, Now the Sleeper Awakens, The Making of Dune. That was a fascinating doco. On the Arrow release, it has the edited version, but this has the full 93-minute cut of the making of this sci-fi mess, I guess we could say, because, even David Lynch disowns this film. That special feature alone is incredible. I love it. It was definitely worth it for this release. Tim, what's your second favorite feature for the year?
It's from Wise Blood in the John Huston box set. It's called American Sinners, John Huston's New Hollywood Gothic. It's Kat Ellinger's visual essay where she connects the protagonists of Taxi Driver and Wise Blood. And it's just a fascinating insight into, I guess, two films which I've seen many times and love, that has all of these things that I had not registered in the slightest, as Kat Ellinger's obviously a smarter person than me and is able to do these things. It's a fantastic visual essay. I highly recommend it.
Paul, what's your second favorite special feature for the year?
So I'm continuing with the music theme. My second favorite is on The Lodger, the Alfred Hitchcock 9 set, and it's Scoring the Lodger, interview with composer Nitin Sawhney. This is one of the musical scores on the film, which is a more modern piece, composed specifically by Nitin for the film. And he goes into his process and how he goes about composing for much older material. Obviously, this is from 1927, and I think the score was done in 2020 something. I can't quite remember the year of the score. I have to look that up. But it's a really interesting interview on how the music got done. And there's actually quite a few scores included on this release. And that's the one that I listened to when watching the film for the first time. So it was great to then see the interview with the composer on that.
It's a great film too.
Oh, such a good film. I really, really enjoyed it. It was like 5 out of 5 for me.
John, what's your second favorite special feature for the year?
Mine would have to be on the it's on the Hitchcock Early Years, Volume 1. And on the 39 Steps is a really great commentary with, once again, come back to Kim Newman and Barry Forshaw. Really informative. Those guys are a wealth of knowledge, and just to listen, hear them talk every second, there's a bit of information flying at the screen. And obviously, 39 Steps is one of my favorite Hitchcock films of all time. So to hear a really good in-depth commentary, which I've been kind of looking for a while on it, is amazing. So for that alone, it's definitely one of my favorites of the year.
My second favorite special feature for the year is the soundtrack by Tangerine Dream for The Keep. That soundtrack has been long unavailable, and for Imprint to include the CD of this incredible score by the legendary Tangerine Dream, it's a prog rock fan, electronic music fanatics' dream come true. And this soundtrack by Tangerine Dream, brilliant. I think it's one of the best electronic scores for a horror film for sure. I adore this soundtrack, and of course, as a huge fan of Tangerine Dream, can't go wrong. Definitely not.
It's been bootlegged for years, so finally, nice official release. Even I think the band themselves are selling it at their table, like sort of bootleg copies.
That's true, they were.
So it's good to see an official release. And there was an urban legend on that, actually, that apparently some people think that they saw a vinyl copy back in the day, but it never. I think people were getting confused with the Laserdisc, but there's an urban legend that the Keep vinyl that got pulled off store shelves. But yeah, I think people were. So it's got a bit of history, that soundtrack, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay, let's hear our television guru, Mr. Jim Mulvihill's thoughts on his top 3 special features for the year. Jim, what are your top 3 special features from Imprint 2025?
Okay. One of the best extras on Hitchcock, The Early Years, Volume 1, is Cinema Then and Cinema Now. In the feature, Professor Jerry Carlson and other film scholars discussed The Man Who Knew Too Much as well as other movies, and number 17. The British, what they go on to say is the British Board of Film Censors, the BBFC, and the American Production Code, the Hays Code, both strongly discouraged explicit identification of a real contemporary foreign power as a villain, especially in Britain. In 1966, that meant you knew who the culprits were, but naming them was completely off limits. The Man Too, this is why the conspirators are vaguely Eastern European in accent and manner, sometimes clearly not foreign at all, embedded within the Britain itself. The threat becomes ideological rather than national. Some of the conspirators are British, reinforces the idea that danger comes from within, avoids suggesting Britain is under threat by a specific nation. Now, there's a lot more discussion, but it is fascinating. And I think if you've got this set, it's an idea to watch the film, and then come back afterwards and listen to the discussion. Now, this is all done by the college in Staten Island, New York. And apparently the guy's still going, because this was done in 1992, this extra. But it's something that I thought would be absolutely stupid, but it turned out to be brilliant. And they've done, I think, 3 of them in total in the box sets. They did 5, but Imprint have released 3 as far as I know. My second one is Kojak, the Night Stalker. Yeah, audio commentaries is borderline luxurious, the kind of thing that turns a box set from a nice release into a long-term companion. I mean, 21 commentaries for a show that only ran 20 episodes. It's an astounding level of care. It basically means that every story gets its own deep dive. The set is aimed squarely at fans. You see Kojak not only is a monster of the week, but a journalist trapped in a world that refuses to believe him. My third is This Island Earth on Tales of Adventure Collection 5. It's Heath Holland's commentary on This Island Earth. It's that rare category where it doesn't just accompany the film, it becomes part of how you understand it. What makes it and stand out for me was the depth. You can tell it's thoroughly researched, but it's never turns into a list of facts dumped at the top of the movie. Heath treats the film as a serious production. He backs it up with excellent research without ever sounding like he's reading notes, unlike I am. Another by thing, he clearly loves the movie.
Oh, he does. Heath's commentary was good. I agree. And of course, he's a member of the Imprint Films Blu-ray Collections fan group as well. So he's always there. We'll definitely give him a shout out.
Well, he's a Facebook friend of mine, and I do occasionally speak to him. And he's got time for everybody.
Yeah, he does.
It's just a nice thing, you know. And his reviews are normally very good. And I've just lost my page. Are normally very good, and you know, it's a pleasure that. To listen to him in this audio commentary, because he's really with one at the movie. And he started talking about Perry Mason, about the stars in the movie and how many episodes they appeared in Perry Mason, which is quite funny as well. But he's not just that, he does a lot of movies.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah. So that's my 3 for special features.
Tim, what's your number 1 special feature for the year?
Okay, it's on the HUD disc. It goes by the name, the rather unimaginative title of Interview with Actress Filmmaker Ileana Douglas, granddaughter of Melvyn Douglas. But it is an absolutely fascinating, entertaining, brilliant look back on HUD and look back on her grandfather and all of the people around HUD and how they interacted with her life. Ileana Douglas is always one of the most entertaining people to listen to when she's talking about film. And it's just a fascinating and just wonderful interview, and lengthy as well. So I really enjoyed that interview, and completely unexpected.
Yeah, Ileana Douglas is such a cinephile. It's great listening to her thoughts on film in particular. Paul, what's your number 1 special feature for the year?
Yeah, so number one for me is one that you mentioned, Tony. The Sleeper Must Awaken from the June release, the documentary. It's produced by Ballyhoo Motion Pictures, and if anyone's familiar with their special features, those are always super in depth, super well researched, and I love his editing style as well. I think Daniel Griffith is the man behind those. It was great to have the full length documentary on here. As you mentioned, Arrow had the cut down version. I watched that immediately after watching this version of June, which I didn't mind. It kind of rushes the last bit of the story, but the kind of first 2/3 are actually pretty well done. So yeah, but the documentary, to be able to have the full thing on here, and it, as I say, they're always so well researched, and you really get a great overview of the making of this. So I'm glad that Imprint included the full documentary on here.
It's a really good doco, definitely. John, what's your number one special feature for the year?
Yes, my number one is, once again, it's more of a, I guess you could say it's its own sort of documentary feature itself, but it's on the Blue/Fade box set, and it's Cruel, Usual, Necessary, The Passion of Silvio Narizano, and that gave a lot of context to that box set because, and this is what special features are about. Like, this is more than a special feature. Like, Daniel put a lot of effort and love and passion into making this documentary, and it's amazing. And for someone who didn't know much about his films at all, apart from Georgie Girl, this was a real eye-opener because it really made me appreciate Blue a lot more when seeing that film as well. So yeah, just amazing personal work from Daniel. So, you know, obviously we're honored to have him on the show talking about the box set, but yeah, after seeing that documentary and going into you know, Silvio's work and obviously the queer themes around it and all these sort of things that you probably can't see from the surface level, really fascinating work. So yeah, for that alone, it's my favorite sort of special feature of the year, even though it's its own documentary.
Well, John, you and I are in sync because that's also my number one. This documentary was freaking incredible. Daniel was so passionate about this film, this director, and in this documentary was amazing. And talking to him about this set in particular, and as you said, it makes more sense when you watch the movie Blue, when you watch this documentary, and you get how Narizano works and everything else. Because yeah, this documentary was brilliant. I loved it. I praised Daniel so much on that episode, as we said, about this documentary. Highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it yet, you must watch it. It's great.
Is it still in print? I just think it's a really
it is.
Yeah, it's a really underrated set, and definitely I think more people should give it a chance. So yeah, hoping to see it move some units, but it's a great, you know, just story overall, that whole box set. But yeah,
Blue itself is a really good film. I really enjoyed it, and I know you did too. Fade In is definitely a curiosity piece for sure.
Yes,
that was nice companion, definitely. Our next category is the top 3 box sets, and this year Imprint have released so many box sets. It's basically hard to count how many they've released. Good Lord. So let's start off with our family member, Mr. Paul Berriman. Paul, what's your number 3 box set for the year for Imprint?
Yeah, like you said, Tony, there was so many box sets this year, and so many of great quality. Hard to pick 3 and then even put them in an order. So starting with my third favorite was Tales of Adventure Collection 5. This is the sci-fi themed set. 27th Day, Night the World Exploded, This Island Earth, Devil Girl from Mars, which is probably the main reason I picked this one. The Gamma People, and there's also a bonus film on there as well. This set is like classic sci-fi. I enjoyed all of these, but the one I enjoyed the most was Devil Girl from Mars. You know, can't go past that fabulous film with the dominatrix-like alien figure, which yourself and Suzanne mentioned, and yeah, really turned me on to this set. I love the cover art design of this one. There, she's on the back there.
Oh, she's stunning.
Absolutely stunning. Yeah, if you like your sci-fi 1950s, this set is for you. And a wealth of special features on there. I think Kim Newman is on the Devil Girl from Mars release. Kim Newman gives a commentary, and there's an interview with him as well, which is a nice little piece. Hard to choose, but that's one I'm going with for number 3.
John, what's your third favorite box set for the year?
Yeah, it was very tough because there were so many Tales from Adventures. But for me, personally, I was a big fan of the Tales of Adventure Collection 9. And the reason is because I've always liked the sort of, sort of prehistoric era, the ones obviously Hammer made and whatnot, these really fun adventure films. I remember seeing them when I was younger, especially People That Time Forgot was one I remember seeing on TV when I was very young. It kind of stuck with me. And so it includes Land Time Forgot, At the Earth's Core, The People That Time Forgot, Warlords of Atlantis. So just really fun, really amazing from Doug McClure, who's got the connection to all these films. So if you're a fan of sort of prehistoric or sort of in just the miniature effects and practical effects, and it's amazing. So that's personally, out of all the adventure sets, it was very hard because they were all great. But this personally, just because I have a bit of a connection with seeing them when I was younger. But it's they're all amazing.
That is true. It was a tough year, especially for Tales of Adventure. Tim, what's your third favorite box set for the year?
Yes, as you said, there was way too many to choose from. I think as an individual release, one of the releases in this box set would probably have been my number one individual release of the year, but that's the Hitchcock 9. There's so much, the films are of variable quality, which is probably why I've got it at 3, but the supplements and the story the whole box tells is just incredible. The blackmail disc in particular, as I said, is so thorough that you just learn so much about this era of Hitchcock's filmmaking. And just absolutely love this set. Love going through it and really love the pairing of this and the Early Years Volume 1, which came out last year, and Volume 2, which I'm currently watching, that came out this year.
My number 3 box set is basically dedicated to a subgenre that I am obsessed with from the 1970s, and I absolutely adore this collection. Blaxploitation. I love this type of genre, especially with. I know this doesn't include the films of Pam Grier and the legendary other blaxploitation artists, but this one includes the legend of Black Charlie and the soul of Black Charlie. But as we all know, their original titles we can't mention in public. But the best film for me in this set is Detroit 9000. That was the first time I've ever seen it from this set, and I was blown away by it. I loved Detroit 9000. One of the best. I think this is a phenomenal box set in particular. Paul, what's your second favorite box set for the year?
Second favorite box set for the year for me, we mentioned there was a lot of adventure sets, but there's also a few director sets. Going with directed by David Lean, Volume 1. This is a set which has got a lot of early films from David Lean. A couple of standouts in here for me were This Happy Breed and Blithe Spirit. Brief Encounter is also in here, which is an absolute classic. There's a few of these collaborations with Noel Coward. So Noel Coward produced and wrote some of these, and David Lean directed, but they're all really great. The 2 Dickens adaptations, you've got Great Expectations and Oliver Twist. Great Expectations is probably my favorite of the 2, but just as like a piece of work from a filmmaker, it's great that Imprint do the director's sets and really put like a focus on a director. And in here, there's a series of interviews with, I think it's Melanie Williams, discussing the films, and David Lean. So you really get nice companions to each of them. And there's packed of special features, but just really great cinema. As I said, This Happy Breed is one which really stood out to me, film which I hadn't heard of before, but I discovered in this set and really enjoyed. There's really masterful editing. It's a bookended film. I love films that start and end on the same shot, but what has happened in between those 2 shots in terms of the characters and the time and the place, it's a whole different perspective. David Lean, Volume 1 for me.
John, what's your second favorite box set for the year?
Once again, there were many sort of director sets. My number 2 would have to be the Cinema Powell and Pressburger Collection 1, because I'm a big fan of Powell and Pressburger, but this brings some of the real essentials, and you get a lot of Blu-ray upgrades, sort of ones that have been stuck on DVD, like 49th Parallel and Canterbury Tale. I think they're just stuck on Criterion DVDs or out of print. Right. So it includes, Powell and Pressburger, just, master filmmakers. And this set has, some of my favorites, Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, Black Narcissus, which is, a masterpiece, and some people would say even a gothic almost, not an unsploitation, but you can see the elements sort of brewing in that film. But it's just overall Canterbury Tale, Spy and Black. It's just like it's an amazing set. And just if you're getting into Palin Pressburger, this is like all great essentials from the catalog. Matter of Life and Death's just a masterpiece alone, like visually. And so, yeah, I can't recommend the set. And there's a ton of special features on there as well, as as mentioned before. So as an overall box set, I just adore this set, and I can't wait to see what's coming next.
It's a brilliant set. Tim, what's your second favorite box set for the year?
It's another directed by John Huston. These have been Wise Blood, Under the Volcano, and The Dead were all on my I need to not have these on DVD anymore list for a very long time. And yes, they were all upgraded in one hit. Because obviously Criterion have released The Dead just now, but they still have the other two languishing on DVD. These are just three. Well, there's two masterpieces and one very, very good film in this set. So I think Wise Blood is a film that, as I said before, has been one I've seen many times. Absolutely adore it. Just such an incredible Southern Gothic. And so I don't know what more I can say. They're presented beautifully and a great collection of films.
My second favorite box set for the year is one that Tim has already mentioned, and that is the Hitchcock 9. This box set is an essential for any cinephile, any Hitchcock lover, Hitchcock fan, and of course for lovers of silent film. This collection is the ultimate edition with all these sets, including it also includes the film The Pleasure Garden, his debut, which I don't believe has ever been released on Blu-ray. This is probably the first time it's been used. And of course, as Paul mentioned, The Lodger, that's one of his best silent films, in my opinion. There's just so many great films here. The Manxman was another good one, as well as Blackmail. Blackmail, you can't go wrong. But yeah, this collection is essential for classic film lovers, Hitchcock lovers, silent film lovers, everything. It's brilliant. It's definitely one of the greatest. Definitely. Paul, what's your number one box set for the year?
Number one, for me, one that we've discussed quite a lot already, it's the Hitchcock 9 for me. This had to come in first place. I really, really enjoyed these films. Hitchcock, one of the most iconic directors, even for people who aren't so familiar with films. You kind of have like Spielberg and Hitchcock, names that everyone kind of knows. So these are his first films, silent films, all collected together with a wealth of special features, as Tim mentioned earlier. For me, I really liked The Farmer's Wife. That was actually one which is like a comedy, and I thought, okay, how is a comedy going to play? It's not going to be physical comedy like a lot of silent films are. There's, it's kind of dialogue driven, and yet it still really works. One thing with a lot of these, and is mentioned in some of the special features, is that Hitchcock silent films don't use a lot of title cards. He specifically didn't want to use a lot of title cards. Usually in silent films, you'd have, whenever someone talks, you'd have a card on the screen written out what is being said. And it does happen a few times, but a lot of it is really given over to the actors and how they're portraying the situations. And you really just understand what's going on through the composition of the shots, through the music in some cases, but it's through what the actors are doing and how they're portraying themselves. There's a lot of tension built up in ones like The Lodger and Manxman and Blackmail, sort of crime ones, and sort of themes that would go on to really show what Hitchcock could do in the future through the rest of his career. Like you said, Tony, it's great that they have The Picture Garden here, his first film on Blu-ray. I just enjoyed sitting through all of these, right up to Blackmail, and where I chose the version which comes with the talking as well. So the first introduction of sound into Hitchcock movies, where some of the characters talk, and yet there's still silent scenes as well. So sort of some scenes are silent and some have talking. But yeah, just a really, really phenomenal set. I'm so glad that Imprint put this out, and I'm really, really happy to have it with the wealth of special features and the great films in here. So yeah, that's definitely number one box set for me.
John, what's your number one box set for the year?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo here, but mine's a little bit different. Tim mentioned earlier, it's the directed by John Huston box set, because once again, that was a essential upgrade, because all three of these I sort of adore, especially Wise Blood. You know, it's one of the. It's funny because even though he was an older director, he was still able to make movies in the new Hollywood sort of new wave, which is quite interesting. So, and Wise Blood is fantastic. You know, Harry Dean Stanton, an incredible cast, and just like a great Southern Gothic tale based on a novel. And yeah, these were just sort of lingering with, well, obviously the first two were with Criterion, and Under the Volcano, which is, another amazing film as well. Obviously, just someone sort of drinking themselves to death. Yeah, Albert Finney gives one of his sort of best performances of all time, and obviously the Dead is like Tim mentioned, is coming out for Criterion. But yeah, just these are all three incredible films, and I don't think people realize how important this set is. I adore it, and just a wealth of special features. So it's definitely my top box of the year, because as soon as it was announced, I was just I was extremely excited. I was like, yes, finally. So yeah, it's a great set.
Alrighty, let's hear from our television guru, Mr. Jim Mulvihill, on his top 3 box sets for the year. Okay, what are your top 3 box sets?
Oh, this was a problem.
That was I know, I can imagine. I know how much you love your box sets.
This was a big problem. Hitchcock, The Early Years, Volume 1. Absolutely in love with this, because they finally upgraded my laser light DVDs, which were awful, to beautiful Blu-ray presentations with wonderful extras. So that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Powell and Pressburger, are you surprised?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I've got the Criterion of most of their films, and I still bought this, and I absolutely adore this release. Particularly, I didn't have The Spy in Black in Blu-ray, and that's the first film that I got into with Powell and Pressburger, and I've been a fan ever since. So yeah, that's another one. David Lean, Volume 1. What a story this is.
Yeah.
He was an editor, and he was approached by Noel Coward, because Noel Coward, in Which We Serve, he was credited, or he was going to be credited as the director, Noel Coward was. But he didn't know a lot of the technical stuff. And he had Lean as an editor, but Lean started to do more and more and more. And eventually they settled on a shared credit of director. And this launched David Lean's career into some very important films that made the British industry. He's every bit as influential as Alfred Hitchcock.
And couldn't agree more.
Sorry?
Couldn't agree more.
So these are my 3, but this has taken a long time to work out, because there's so much wonderful stuff being released.
Oh, I know. That was an impossible task, I think, for everybody, not just you. It's a tough one, definitely.
Well, I was torn between Hitchcock 9 as well, but I'm sure that maybe Paul Berriman might mention that one. So I thought, you know what, let's do the Volume 1 of the talkies and go from there.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, Tim, what's your number 1 box set for the year?
Well, it looks like John and I switched our 1 and 2s around. So mine is the Powell and Pressburger, the Cinema of Powell and Pressburger Collection 1. As I said before, I'm very excited that there's a Collection 2 on the way. Curious to see what films make it into that box. These are just, Spy in Black is a film that I've been wanting to see for years, and it had been somewhat unavailable. So it was great to have this really good version of it. The 49th Parallel is a film I've seen before, and it's a very good film. And it's the introduction of sort of Canada into World War II, and the start of, I guess, their propaganda film cycle. Once you watch those 2, then you move into 4 just flat out masterpieces. You can't put a foot wrong on any of those films apart from one accent in A Canterbury Tale. They're just completely flawless apart from that, the way that one guy talks. Absolute perfection as a box set. So it couldn't be anything but my number 1 release of the year.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And Tim, it's also my number 1. I've been a huge fan of Powell and Pressburger ever since I saw The Red Shoes. But then Then later on, I saw probably my top three, definitely The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp.
Yeah.
That is a brilliant masterpiece. I love it. But the best part about that is, well, I don't know if I could call it best part, but it is an added incentive, I should say, that it also includes an alternate version of the Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, which cuts out nearly 50 minutes of the movie from its original theatrical version, which I thought was pointless, but that's how it was. But it was still it is a good addition to have. But Black Narcissus is probably the best film from this, the best looking, at least technicolor wise. It is a major stunner. And of course, A Matter of Life and Death is also considered one of the greatest British films ever made. And
it is.
It is, yes. You just can't help but love every film that's in this set. And of course, as you said, Tim, except that that accented fellow from Canterbury Tale, we can forgive that, I guess.
Well,
but yeah, this
rough,
is my. Oh, I know. Yeah, this is my number one box set for the year. Okay, we are up to our television bundle category. So we decided to choose only one best of TV series. And of course, who better to start off with than introducing his number one television show is our television guru himself, Mr. Jim Mulvihill. Take it away. The next one is only one title. And this is your category, your top imprint television release. What is your favorite television release for the year?
Now, you know what a huge ITC fan I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
I sure do.
Randall Hopkirk and all these sort of things. I picked Kojak, The Night Stalker. It's
Great
incredible.
choice.
It's incredible. Who doesn't like monsters? You know.
No.
And
Yeah.
if I can read you a little bit, something I wrote because I thought it was quite important. The show is such a vibe. The music isn't just background. It basically is storytelling and sound. The whistle theme is doing a lot of work. It starts off almost playful, even a little folksy, like Kojak himself. Rumpled, curious, half joking, his way into danger. The whistle feels casual, human, grounded. You are not being warned yet. You are being invited. Then as the score shifts, suddenly that same theme feels uneasy, even threatening. And I think that does sum the show up, quite frankly.
It does.
And,
yeah.
You know, the theme really got me because it's so gentle to begin with, you know. And then it just, if David Huckvale, he would explain it far better than I could even dream of explaining it. But we were talking about this in the dead of night, and it's the same sort of thing. This feeling of dread, and they've captured it in the theme. And of course, the way he acts and the way he's dressed, you know, the rumpled clothes and all this, and the way he casually talks to police detectives and gets kicked around, basically, you know. It's just a show that it's a shame that more weren't made. But I know there was a lot of problems in production. But this is a release I wanted for a very long time. And, you know, as soon as Imprint announced it, I ordered it straight. Well, I ordered that way, you know. I haven't got through half the order commentaries because there's so much to get through. This is a companion. This is not just another box release. It's a companion. And I know that people are going to say, oh, what's the matter with Jim? He's going a bit over the top. I don't think I am. I love the
No, I don't think so either. Don't you worry.
You're a very nice man.
Tim has not chosen a television series from this category, which is fine. So we'll start with John. John, what's your favorite television series of the year?
Yeah, I mean, they really ramped up this year with television. I think we discussed on a podcast, but as soon as I got it, and like I said, there's just so many movies they're releasing as well, but definitely Kojak, The Night Stalker was my favorite of the year because, yeah, to finally see that get a nice release, a nice upgrade. Like I said, it's an incredible series, and they include the entire series with a ton of new features as well. But as you know, that each episode we discuss with Jim, each episode has its own sort of theme or monster, or obviously we go on to influence the X-Files. But yeah, just a great, incredible piece of horror television that was ahead of its time. So I think it was Kino or someone put out. I never picked that up, but I'm glad that Imprint did it because they did a fantastic job. So this is this was like a dream come true to have this get a nice release.
Yeah, Kino did release the Kolchak Night Stalker Blu-ray set, but yeah, it's a phenomenal set. Definitely, it's one of the best TV shows. As you know, I'm a huge fan of it. It is incredible. Paul, what's your number one television show for the year?
So before I get to that, I just want to give a couple of honorable mentions to a few TV shows they released, which I've only seen a few episodes of so far. Most of the Jerry and Sylvia Anderson shows. So I've got one behind me there. If you can, people watching, we've got the Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons. That is such a fun series. I've watched about 5 or 6 episodes so far, and I've really enjoyed that. And also UFO, the Shadow Files. That is another great one. Really, really enjoyed that. And also happy to see that they've put out the Space 1999 film versions, which are different episodes cut together into films to make movies out of those. But the TV release that I've gone with as kind of the best for me, which I enjoyed all of, and glad this is a continuing series, the TV movie of the week, Collection 2. This one contains really hard-hitting dramas in like short, sharp TV movie style formats. Terror Among Us, Fallen Angel, and Shattered Spirits. Fallen Angel and Shattered Spirits are probably my favorite of the two. So yeah, it's great that Imprint are putting out TV films because they're often things that kind of get forgotten by physical media. So it's great that they've come out on Blu-ray in this nice edition, and a really well designed box set as well with like the TV guide looking panel on the back there too. So yeah, that's my top TV release from 2025.
I should have mentioned there were honorable mentions for me too. Because I actually narrowed it down to 3, but my other 2 was TV of the Week, Collection 3, because once again, a film like Brian's Song, if that wasn't a TV movie, it would be like a Academy Award nominated film because it's such a great drama. So Imprint are really putting a spotlight on real quality sort of TV movies, and obviously the other one I was a big fan of was the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, because it's a show I've liked sort of when I was younger. I used to watch with my mum, and have a bit of nostalgia for when it was on reruns on TV. So that's a great series, and if you're a fan of Twilight Zone or Night Gallery, then Alfred Hitchcock Hour's got some great actors in there as well. So those are the sort of honorable mentions. So thanks for mentioning that, Paul. They definitely want to touch on those as well.
Yeah, as you said, honorable mentions, definitely Alfred Hitchcock Hour on my end. And of course, for me, Kolchak is definitely an honorable mention because it's probably one of my favorite television shows of all time. But I did not choose it as my number one television show for the year. My number one television show of the year is a monster, and it is Bewitched.
Wow.
The way Imprint restored all these sets, and growing up with this show in particular, it's just nostalgia overload for me. And of course, but the best part for seasons 1 and 2, they included the original black and white and the terrible color versions. But of course, the color versions are in standard definition, and the original black and white will always are in high definition. And every episode, every box set also includes a big hard book that includes the synopsises of every episode and some behind the scenes footage. And there's a lot of some extras as well. But yeah, there's just so much to mention about this these box sets. But technically, it's 1 because it's spine number 15. Bewitched is definitely my number 1 television show for the year. Up next is Imprint Asia, something we have not discussed in quite a while, but we definitely have to do something soon for the show to discuss an Imprint Asia title for sure. Tim, what's your favorite Imprint Asia release for the year?
Well, it's a cheat, of course, because it's a box set. It's the Ang Lee, directed by Ang Lee, Father Knows Best, a trilogy. I had only seen one of these before, even though the last two films in the set were everywhere when I was younger. I hadn't got round to seeing Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, but Pushing Hands was a film I didn't even know of its existence, and it's the best film in the set. It absolutely blew me away. An incredible film. But all three films are great, and they're accompanied by some great extras, and it tells you a really good story about this particular era of Ang Lee's career. It's just a great box set. And if, once again, like the Hitchcock 9, if I had to pull out, an individual release, Pushing Hands would be right up there for me as one of the releases of the year by itself.
John, what's your favorite Imprint Asia release for the year?
Yeah, it was a strong year for them. They definitely ramped up Imprint Asia, which was great to see. I'm more on the genre side, so definitely my Vengeance of a Snow Girl. And this is a Shaw Brothers film I'd heard about for quite some time, but it was hard to get a hold of. It was pretty much impossible. It was an old, maybe Hong Kong or Taiwan DVD that was going for a fortune, so I never really persisted. And so then when it got announced, I was amazed. Like, wow. But yeah, it's and it's funny. This is like a couple of years, maybe 2 years before Lady Snow Blood, and it's a revenge tale. Basically, it's about a girl who gets revenge on people that killed her parents, and it's a sweeping epic, and it's set over a landscape, and she's obviously great martial arts scenes and sword play, and it's a really fun revenge tale. And the fact that Imprint releases is amazing. And so Vengeance of Snow Girl, just for it getting a release alone is incredible. So I highly recommend. My favorite Imprint Asia release is Vengeance of a Snow Girl, which is Imprint Asia number 16.
Okay, let's see what Jim has to say about his favorite Imprint Asia release. Your top Imprint Asia release. No,
right. This is a rabbit hole I didn't want to go down, and I haven't.
That's okay.
Because of John even mentioned it, but I have to say, I ordered Cliff Walkers. The film is superb. It reminded me of the Clint Eastwood Where Eagles Dare in parts. The fact you've got people who are coming into another country and they're undercover, and they've got someone that's actually a double agent that's against them, and they get killed, and they've got to be careful. It's just a wonderful film. But I will be buying Better Tomorrow, because that is just sensational.
Yeah.
Yes. So I will be getting into Imprint Asia. I'll talk about it next year if I'm still around.
No worries. Oh, you'll still be your family always. Don't you worry.
Thank you.
Hey, Paul, what's your favorite Imprint Asia release for the year?
So my favorite Imprint Asia release is Shaw Shock. This is Shaw Brothers Horror Collection Volume 1. Contains The Oily Maniac, Seeding of a Ghost, and Sex Beyond the Grave. Like John said, more into the genre side of things. And, it's no secret that Shaw Brothers has got an awful lot of stuff out from various labels around the world, and it's great that Imprint are putting out some Shaw Brothers material. I really enjoyed the Snake prints from I think the previous wave to this one. That was a really great film. But yeah, the three in this set make up a really great collection of horror titles. And they're all just so well made. Like, they're just the shots that they put in, the effects that they use, the music, so entertaining. Seeding of a Ghost was probably my favorite of the three. It's just a wonderful horror set, great box design as well. And I haven't watched Volume 2 yet, but it's great that they continue on with the Shaw Shock films. So yeah, that's definitely the top Asia release for me.
Yeah, my honorable mentions would be 1 and 2. They're amazing sets.
Yeah, and Paul, it's also my number 1. I love this set, and The Oily Maniac is probably the most insane, but my favorite from the three. I thought it was just hilarious. Yeah. But it is really this year. Imprint brought out so many Shaw Brothers films, and Shaw Brothers are a staple for Asian cinema in particular. And God, I love them. I love Shaw Brothers. Now from this year onwards, Imprint are also releasing Golden Princess this year. So I'm really excited to discuss them next year when we do our best of episode for 2026. That's good. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of great titles to discuss from Imprint Asia there. This year, Imprint were famous for releasing Bespoke collector's editions, and there was some beauties released this year. And let's start off with Jim. Let's see what Jim has to say, what his favorite Bespoke set is. Now, I know you haven't got many of these. What is your top Bespoke collector's set? The Keep.
Imprint released the Bespoke edition of The Keep. That's absolutely incredible, from the weight of the cross to the meticulous packaging and the film itself. It's a worthy addition to any collection.
Well said. And it's true, definitely.
Yeah. So very happy. I've also got the Doom box set as well, which I haven't had time to go through. But this, I'm so pleased I bought it, because a lot of people were saying, oh, I don't know, it's expensive. It's worth every penny.
It is.
Yeah.
Worth every penny indeed.
And it's a big statement from Imprint. And it's a hell of a risk, really, to bring out something like that, because you don't know if you are going to sell that amount of copies. But it's beautiful.
Oh, it sold very well. I can tell you that. It did very well.
Well, hopefully they're going to bring out a few more like that in the future.
I hope so too. Definitely. Okay. John, what's your favorite Bespoke set for the year?
Yeah, it was tough because they had some real beauties this year in terms of like just massive and insane packaging. I'll mention my favorite, and I'll have some honorable mentions. But look, my favorite would have to be, and once again, I never thought this set would ever happen, is be the Silent Night, Deadly Night set, because yep, that's it there. Yep, that's it. It's one of my favorite slashers of all time. It's a very, I guess, it's a grim, nihilistic. It's not really a fun slasher. It's quite a dark film, the first one, and a very quite misunderstood. For many years, I've obviously been a big fan of it. I used to have the old VHS, which was, I think it was Palace VHS. And the amazing thing about the set is they replicated the VHS. Well, obviously not exactly the same, but they tried to imitate the Palace style VHS of the famous image of him with the Santa with the axe. But yeah, just a amazing physical package, because you've got the classic artwork, and then you've got posters, you've got the scripts, you've got the comic as well. And then we did an unboxing, and I was just blown away by the amount of effort that was put into this set. And yeah, I just never would dream that Silent Night, Deadly Night would get this deluxe treatment. And it's amazing because I imported I imported the crappy Shout Factory one, and it's region locked. The 4K didn't even play on my player, and so I was really pissed off. And then all of a sudden Imprint announced this. I'm like, wow, okay. So I've never heard of a region locked 4K. That I think Shout Factory, they hold the record for doing that for some reason. But yeah, Imprint did an amazing job. So yeah, just incredible, amazing. Obviously honorable mentions. Dune obviously is a beauty, and obviously The Keep, which is amazing too. It was so hard to pick one, but I thought I'd go for Silent Night because, like I said, it's just a film I never thought would get this sort of treatment. So yeah, it was a tough choice, but yeah, that's my number one.
My favorite Bespoke collector's set is, as you said, John, it's tough. It was a tough year, but I'll get to more of that later on. But my top Bespoke collector's set is The Keep. Has amazing physical extras. Of course, it has the cross that weighs a freaking ton, which I gotta say. And yeah, but the best part is also has the original script from Michael Mann, and of course the soundtrack, as I mentioned earlier. This set was a passion project, definitely, for Imprint Films, and it's well deserved. It is one of the best collector's editions I've seen of this film in particular. So yeah, this is my favorite Bespoke set for the year. Tim, what's your favorite Bespoke collection for the year?
Well, I've gone a different path. I've gone for this enormous Life Force set, which is, I'm very amused by this.
Don't show it.
Where they put the slip cover on for modesty purposes, but
very cheekily of them, but it was good.
The eyes of the innocent. Yes.
This is a film that I remember seeing when I was too young to see it at the cinema, because for some reason it was rated very generously. It's incredibly entertaining. It's great to see both versions of the film, and it's packed with supplements, and seeing all of the old lobby cards and all of the press kits and the Canon film stuff in there was just great. It's just a fun box set. As you said, there's a lot to choose from. The packaging for the June one is phenomenal. The Keep is such an extraordinary box. Kill Bill is probably the 2 best films they released in this format this year, but this was the most fun. So that's what I got with it.
Fair enough.
Good choice.
Paul, what's your favorite Bespoke collection for the year?
Oh, Tony, this was so hard to choose. I think of all the categories we have for this episode, this one in particular was the hardest because these are true collector's editions. These are the editions which the people who love the films go to, collectors who like all the different physical extras that come with them. So for me, Dune was amazing. Silent Night, Deadly Night, I really, really loved that. So this was really hard to choose, but I've gone with The Keep for my number one. Behemoth Bespoke Collector's Edition. It's even hard to hold in one hand. It's so heavy with this cross replica, but the physical extras in here for me, I think, really won me over. The 5-issue comic collected in one. You've got the script in there. There's a book inside. They call it a booklet, but really it's a book. It's a hardcover book. It's got essays. It's got behind the scenes material. It's got music cue sheets from Tangerine Dream, which Tony mentioned the soundtrack comes with the 4K as well. In terms of a collector's set for what is, I think, is a great little film, they've really gone all out in everything that they've included. The press kit is in there as well with the pictures, and there's the full-size poster which you get in a lot of these Bespoke collector's editions. But yeah, it's just as a piece of collector's material for the film, it is amazing. And it's great that the film has been given this treatment by Imprint. So yeah, that is number one for me. But it was hard to choose. I love the Dune, the sand effect in the Dune box, the sparkling effect on the Silent Night Deadly Night box, which comes with the VHS. Hard to choose, but that for me, I think that's got to be number one.
It was a tough one, I know. We're nearly finished, believe it or not. We only got one more category to go. And but first up, we'll have some honorable mentions of our favorite Imprint releases for the year. So we'll start off with Jim. Jim, take it away. Alrighty, second last thing. Any honorable mentions?
Flesh and Fantasy, Dead of Night. Incredible love's gone into it. And of course, we did a podcast on Dead of Night. Yeah. Wonderful. The Heat of the Night, I always find that film fascinating. And the struggle between Rod Steiger, being a white man, and, Sidney Poitier, the struggle between white and black, and the love they have in the end, because there is love there in the end, and
of course.
And it's getting through that adversity, and it's getting through that old mentality of the cotton pickers in the field. I'm talking about the guy that gets slapped by Sidney Poitier, It's, for 1967, I think it was made.
Yeah, 1967.
That's incredible that they would make something like that in America, considering what was going on then.
Yeah.
It's probably a bit better now, but in parts it probably is not great even now. So that's a very good film. And I didn't like the artwork at first, but I did a bit of research, and that's more like the way the artwork was released when the film was released. So I'm very happy with that now. The Onion Field, great film.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I used to read a lot of Joseph's novels when I was at school, and I read The Onion Field, and I saw it on TV, and I thought it was wonderful. And when Imprint announced it, I ordered that straight away. So that was a wonderful film. And The Bridge Too Far. Never expected that to be done so well, and it's a great demonstration disc as well for picture quality. So they're my honourable mentions.
Lovely,
thank you,
John. What are your honourable mentions for 2025's releases from Imprint Films?
Obviously, Dune is an incredible release, not only because it included a number of great supplements as well. So it's an incredible set. So if you're a fan of Dune, then yeah, it's amazing. And not only physical package, but the content as well is amazing for that set. Another one I was very happy got an upgrade. It didn't make my top 3, but it's up there. It was Man Bites Dog, because I've always love that film, and it's kind of stuck in limbo with the Criterion DVD. So it got a really nice upgrade, and it's just a great release overall. But just a fantastic film. So that would be some of my honorable mentions before I go into my top 3.
Tim, what are your honorable mentions for the year?
Well, there was just so many releases that it's impossible to keep up. Carrie is one of my favorite films, and With Noel and I, also one of my favorite films. So it's great to see them appear in the Imprint collection. They're slightly better packages, so unfortunately these great films don't quite make my list. The Olivia Shakespeare box set was a great bonus. Henry V and Hamlet, long due for good physical releases, and they got it there. I love the package of the 39 Steps and The Lady Vanishes, the 1970s remake. They're very fun films, and they make a great obvious supplement to the Hitchcock Early Years Volume 2 box, which has just come out. I want to give a random special shout out to a 1-minute supplement on the Black Mark box, which is the Annie Ondra screen test, which is Hitchcock and Annie Ondra testing out sound for the first time. It's such a delight to watch. I just watched it over and over again. That was just a great little extra, but because it's 1 minute, I wouldn't put it in my favorite special features for the year.
Why not? Okay, Paul, what are your honorable mentions for the year?
Yeah, so I have a few. First, Man Bites Dog didn't quite make my top 3, but that was, like John said, great to have a release of that one. And then a few dramas. The Man Who Would Be King, it was a great film. I really enjoyed that. Very solid movie. Lipstick from quite earlier in the year. That was a phenomenal film. I was just the last 5 minutes of that absolutely amazing. And then one which kind of came out of nowhere for me and I really enjoyed was Lifeguard. I didn't even know if I particularly like it, just looking at the cover and what it was about. I think, this might not be my thing, but it was actually a really solid drama with great performances, really well shot. So I'm glad that got a release because I really enjoyed it. Didn't quite make my top 3, but really solid film. So I'm glad that it's out.
Yeah, I got 4 honorable mentions, and 2 of them are bespoke sets. Number 1 is Life Force. It's a canon film. It's a classic. Come on, it's so you can't rate it badly because all right, canon made it, but the care for this collection went into it was brilliant. I loved this, and the best part is both cuts have their own 4K UHD discs, as the other releases only had theatrical. So that's a plus, definitely. And then the second behemoth set is Dune. This clever effect alone, I know it's taking its time, but I'm not going to do it all now. This clever effect of the sand dunes going around the whole thing, and you see glittery spice all over. It's clever packaging, phenomenal, great extras, great physical extras as well. But I only wish they included the Toto soundtrack with this. But, well, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. And my third honorable mention is a box set, which is Hitchcock Volume 1, The Early Years. This has some of the greatest films from his career from the 30s, especially The Man You Too Much, 39 Steps, Number 17, and The Skin Game of Rich and Strange. But The Man You Too Much with Peter Lorre, you can't go wrong. This is it. This is my honorable mention box set. And my honorable mention singular title is the only X-rated film to win Best Picture in the Oscars, Midnight Cowboy. This movie is a pure, depressing masterpiece. It is so bleak. It shows the grimy side of New York City, and it also includes this amazing documentary, Desperate Souls, Dark City, and the Legend of the Midnight Cowboy. So this is a fascinating documentary about the making of this classic film. So yeah, they're my honorable mentions for the year. Now we're up to the big one. Our top 3 imprint releases for the year. And They released so much this year, it was so hard to choose. So we'll start off with Paul. Paul, what's your number 3 imprint release for the year?
Yeah, so number 3 release of the year for me is a 2006 film, so a newer one, Half Nelson, starring Ryan Gosling and directed by Ryan Fleck and written by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck. They have a really great interview featurette on this piece as well. I really, really like this film. It is so well shot, so well acted. There's a great story, and it was just a really interesting drama that, for me, so entertaining, very dark in places, but also just really, really well acted. And for me, probably one that I would watch again. So that's why it's taking number 3 spot for me, Half Nelson.
Yeah. Tim, what's your 3rd favorite imprint release for the year?
You stole my thunder a bit with your honorable mention, but Midnight Cowboy. It's an exceptional packaging of this film, which has obviously been, as an Oscar winner, it's been released many times, but I don't think I've seen a remotely as good a version of this. The supplements are fantastic, including the Desperate Souls documentary that comes with it, which is a great watch. I don't think I can add much to what you said. It's just a great package and a great film.
John, what's your 3rd favorite imprint release for the year?
Yeah, well, it was seeing how it's on my list, I might as well mention it now. Yeah, Midnight Cowboy was on my list. It's one of my favorite films of all time. It's just an absolute classic, and I was blown away that Imprint got the 4K before really anyone else, for Criterion or anyone. So not only do we get a nice upgrade, but like you said, it's got the documentary. It's got a number of new extras, including a really great commentary by Mathews Ashby Gear, who is another fellow Aussie. It's a really amazing set, and I just, like I said, I adore this film. The 4K looks absolutely stunning. It looks incredible in 4K UHD, and a really nice upgrade over previous releases. So one of my favorite films of all time, and the fact that we finally have the definitive edition of it is amazing. Because look, there's been previous ones that have been okay, but this is I would say the perfect edition. I think I'm pretty much set for now for this film. Even if another release comes out, I think this is the ultimate one. So it's Midnight Cowboy. I adore it.
My 3rd imprint release for the year is the double feature box set Flesh and Fantasy and Dead of Night. 2 classic 40s anthology horror films. One in particular, Dead of Night, is probably one of the greatest anthology films ever made. And to have both of these films in the one package, brilliant. Can't believe, it's amazing. Paul, what's your 2nd favorite imprint release for the year?
So just before I reveal my 2nd favorite, I just want to say I love when we do these episodes and we don't know what we've picked. And it's funny seeing what are the ones we've kind of chosen the same, or the ones we've chosen completely different. In this case, my number 2, I won't really have much else to say because you've all said it already, and it's Midnight Cowboy. First time seeing this, so it was great to experience this on 4K UHD in Dolby Vision. Like you said, John, it looks amazing. It looks really beautiful. For the subject matter and the look of the New York at the time that they were capturing, they've managed to make it beautiful in this film. Performances are amazing. You got the doco in there. You got great archival special features on the Blu-ray as well. Not much else to say that hasn't already been said. But for me, it's right up there with one of the best releases from Imprint. And like I said, glad that they got to the 4K before pretty much anyone else. So good job, Imprint, on that one.
Kudos, definitely. Tim, what's your 2nd favorite imprint release for the year?
I mentioned this earlier in regards to the Ileana Douglas interview. HUD is just a fantastic film that I saw, 20 years ago and had pretty much forgotten and didn't really, I think my appreciation of film wasn't quite what it is now back then. It's just a great film, and having rewatched The Last Picture Show recently, which is another black and white film based on a Larry McMurtry novel about the end of a town in Texas, it makes an amazing sort of pairing with that film. It's just an excellent film. There's, as I said, my favorite supplement of the year is on there, but there's good supplements. There could be more, but it's such a great film and a great package. So I highly recommend HUD.
Yeah. John, what's your second favorite imprint release for the year?
Yeah, once again, it was very hard to pick, but for me, the 4K upgrade of Twins of Evil is definitely on my number 2. Well, it's on my top 3 because it's one of my favorite Hammer films, and obviously, incredible cast, Peter Cushing, just great gothic tale. These 2 twins that end up in this small sort of village, and it's one of the more sort of, I guess I'd say, darker, more explicit Hammer films as well, especially for the time. It deals with a lot of themes as well, especially like sexual awakening and a number of things, and for that film. But to see it get a 4K upgrade, I did not see it coming. So it just overall beautiful box art as well, great supplements, and I was just over the moon because it's one of my favorite Hammer films. So the Twins of Evil upgrade is definitely on my top 3 of the year.
It's a really good upgrade, especially now Hammer's coming. Now that they're getting more Hammer releases soon from Imprint Films, which include Horror of Frankenstein. Coming soon also is Vampire Circus. So that's gonna be good as well. Okay, my second favorite release of Imprints this year is a late one, but it is. I could not. It was as I said earlier, it was a tough choice between the 2 of them, but I'm going to have to do this as my second favorite release for the year. Silent Night, Deadly Night. This collection is phenomenal. I could not believe it when Imprint announced this. It was a surprise for everybody, and it also includes the VHS of the unrated cut. But it also includes a 30-page treatment, the original 30-page treatment that's in this set as well. And great extras, lobby cards, a lot of posters, and as I said, the cover, the lenticular cover of the Blu-rays itself, amazing. So yeah, this is my second favorite release of the year. It's phenomenal, one of the best. Okay, before we get on to our number 1, let's hear our television guru Jim Mulvihill's top 3 imprint releases for the year. Okay, now up to the final category. What are your top 3 imprint releases for the year? I know, I've given you an impossible task. I know.
I don't know what to say. I know what it is for next year.
Oh, I think I know too.
I think the David Lean box set, because looking at the editing of some of his films, I'm sure he had a hand in that as well as directing. And I've seen all these films individually in the past, but when you put it into a box set and you watch it one after the other, you start to realize, you start to see the style. And he's a storyteller in pictures more so than words. So the David Lean Volume 1 is one of my picks of the year. And I'm really sorry, but the early years, Hitchcock Volume 1 is another one of my go-to movies. And lastly, but not least, my Hitchcock 9. So I've got 2 Hitchcocks there. And it's purely because I'm a fan. And I had all the early years ones, but on DVD. I had some of the Hitchcock 9 on DVD. I've had The Lodger on 2 Blu-ray releases from Criterion and from Network On Air in the UK. But I still found all of this fascinating. And the artwork on The Lodger I prefer on this release than any of the other releases I have.
So do I.
I would say that Imprint are giving Criterion a hell of a run for their money. You can't put Criterion as the best label now. I think Criterion are there. So I think in Australia, you're quite lucky. You've actually got a very good company there. I don't know if people who live in Australia appreciate how good the company is, but for someone that lives in the UK, and I can buy a lot of stuff in the UK quite easily, the Hammers are doing very good stuff as well. But this these releases are top notch, and I'm very thankful to you for inviting me into the group, and for Imprint for doing the releases or that they're doing, and hopefully some more for 26.
Looking forward to 2026's releases, and believe me, I think there's going to be quite a lot. Jim, thank you once again for being a member of the family. You're one of the most valuable members of the family, and can't wait to discuss more television, and of course to have you more on deep dives.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Your check's in the post.
No worries.
And
Thank
hello
you.
to everybody at Imprint. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Okay, we're up to the last stretch. Paul, what's your number one Imprint release for the year?
So my number one Imprint release from the year comes from a box set, and it is Dead of Night. I absolutely had to choose this as my top of the year. It's such a great anthology film, a film where the individual stories work, and you also have the wraparound story, which was just a bigger part of the film as the individual ones, because it kind of ties everything together in a really nice way. As we said, we discussed this with Dr. David Huckvale on that episode, and Suzanne as well. It was really, really great hearing their insights, and Jim was part of that as well.
Yeah.
That's such a fun episode, and really, diving deep into this film, which has so many wonderful elements to it. The special features on this are fantastic, including, as I said before, the scoring the night. You've also got short, sharp screams, Dead of Night, and the British Horror Anthology, and Remembering the Night documentary. The commentary on here by Pamela Hutchinson is really interesting. We spoke about that in the episode. But just from having watched this quite a few times, and looking at each of the individual segments, it was one which you had me really excited for when it was first announced, Tony. I hadn't seen or heard of it before, and now I'm so glad I have seen it, and so glad that it's on Blu-ray. And I really, really, really like this film, so it's number one release for me.
I couldn't praise it high enough for you, Paul. It was worth it. It's probably one of my top 5 anthology films of all time. Definitely. It is so good.
Yeah, definitely lived up to your praise, and it was a great recommendation from you. So thank you for that, because I've discovered one of my now more favorite films of all time. So yeah, it's really, really enjoyable.
Lovely. Glad to be of service. Okay, Tim, what's your number one Imprint release for the year?
Okay, well, as I said before, they released quite a few of my favorite films of all time this year, which is nice. And one of them is Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is just one of the great conspiracy thrillers, 70s conspiracy thrillers. It's got a grime to it, and it's also got a humanity to it. Donald Sutherland and Brooke Adams are just so human, and that's obviously what makes the change of everyone else stand out even more. Like, there's that scene where they're both in the car and Donald Sutherland starts to tell a joke, and about halfway through she says, "Oh, I know this one," and they both laugh. That's like such a great character moment that just tells you everything you need to know about these two. But I mean, it's a beautiful 4K release. There's a ton of extra supplements. There's a good little book. And last night I just was going through my list and went, oh, I should just watch Invasion of the Body Snatchers again. Not for research, just because, oh, there it is. I should just go and watch it. So that's, it's clearly my number one for the year.
It's one of those rare remakes which I love better than the original, personally. I think it's brilliant, definitely. John, what's your number one release for the year?
It was hard to narrow down, but a film that I didn't think would get the deluxe treatment, and I definitely have to put it at my number one because I saw it many years ago. It sort of had an impact on me, and this would have to be Last Exit to Brooklyn from 1989. Now, I'm shocked that this got a real deluxe set because I didn't think, this film was sort of languishing with, I think, Lionsgate or whoever owns it. I didn't know if there was going to be a nice release, but the Imprint went all out on this and gave it a beautiful hard box 2-disc set with the second disc just filled with supplements. But Last Exit Exit Brooklyn. Essentially, it's based on a novel, and it's all these, I guess, characters set in the 1950s in this sort of neighborhood of Brooklyn. They all kind of intertwine with each other. And I remember I had I think it was a VHS copy, and it actually said, warning, this film is offensive, because actually it was shocking content for its time. And it has stood the test of time because it deals with obviously homosexuality in the 1950s, and repression and gangs, and Jennifer Jason Leigh as well, with a real sort of shocking ending to the film. I won't spoil it, but it's just all these characters intertwined, and I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's one of the greatest films of sort of that era, the late 80s, and really sort of underrated and not really talked about as much. And so the fact that it got this amazing set from Imprint hopefully allows people to give it a second chance. But it always stuck with me, and then when I saw it announced, like, wow. So The Last Exit to Brooklyn is my top release of the year, because just the amount of effort they put into it. So I highly recommend it.
It's a phenomenal film. It's brilliant. Depressing.
Very depressing. Yes.
Very depressing. Not for the faint of heart, especially that ending. Incredible. Yep. Now, my number one release for the year for Imprint has been mentioned quite a few times in this episode from the four of us. But number one is the Cinema of Powell and Pressburger Collection 1. This, I can't say any more about it because it's been mentioned so many times, but this is probably the best box set of the year and the best release of this year, period. I really, really love it. It just has great extras, great masterpieces, and I cannot wait for number 2. Number 2, it better have They're a Weird Mob or Age of Consent and all the other singular Powell films. Here's hoping they include them. And of course, Peeping Tom, but I think it's been released by another company already, so that can't be that probably won't be included in this. But Powell and Pressburger Collection 1, best release of the year, hands down for me personally. Alrighty, well, that's the wrap for our roundup for 2025, and it was a tough year to choose so many great titles. I can't thank you all enough. Paul, Tim, and of course John, thank you so much for being a part of this episode. Glad you could join in.
Thank you. It's great.
It's always good.
Yeah, and of course, Jim, you saw in his inserts he wanted to join in, but time differences are a nightmare on his end, so that couldn't work. So, Paul, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm on the Facebook groups, the Imprint pages, the fan groups there, on Letterboxd, Paul Berriman, and YouTube, Paul L. Berriman as well.
Yes, and Tim, where can people find you on social media?
Mostly just Letterboxd. That's really where I spend all my time on social media now. Everything else is too depressing. So,
tell me about it.
Tim Leggoe on Letterboxd. Very original name.
Yeah. John, where can people find you on social media?
Same, just on the Facebook group, the Imprint group. I'm on there. But yeah, obviously I'm also on Letterboxd. It's just my name. Yeah, same, John Mathews. It's easy to find because it's 1 T, not 2, so it kind of narrows down. You'll find me there. But yeah, that's where I sort of log most of my activity is on Letterboxd.
Yeah, and of course you can find myself and all of us, as we mentioned, in the Imprint Films Blu-ray Collections fan groups and Imprint Cast Facebook pages. And you can follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd under FilmNut79. Thank you all once again for listening to and watching this episode, and looking forward to what Imprint's going to release in 2026. We already know the first few months already that has been announced, but looking forward to more to come. All right, everybody, thank you so much and hope you have a great one. See you soon. Thank you for listening and watching this latest episode of Imprint Cast. Imprint Cast is a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and hope you have a great day.